If imitation is the best form of flattery, then Mahakaal is everything Freddy Krueger aspires to. A gut-wrenching blaze to the nutsack castrating rip-off of Wes Craven's most famous franchise, A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's also, pretty sadly, a frustrating film to watch, as sometimes it can be genuinely creepy and scary, only to be let down by inappropriate moments of humour. And whilst I can't fault the traditional breakdown of song and dance that comes with Bollywood movies, moments and characters like this spoil the moment.
Hey, Prakash, my friend, my man, Abhyata.
That said, I won't completely come down on the film. It's not terrible by Bollywood standards by any means. It just doesn't have the power or the umph needed to be a success in a market already saturated with horror movies. Recreating a pop culture icon for the Indian market was in itself a challenge, and they nearly pulled it off pretty well. The plot revolves around the Freddy Krueger take, Shakar, who instead of being a mere child killer, fancies himself as somewhat of a sorcerer sacrificing children to attain more power. Killed by a vengeful cop whose daughter Shakar killed, he returns to enact vengeance on him by attacking his victims through dreams and thus getting one step closer to the real world again. Anita, the surviving daughter of the police officer, begins to experience nightmares and witnesses both her friends and enemies die in strange, macabre, and I dare say familiar and bloody ways at school. And that's one of the major fallbacks of the film. It's too familiar in that sense, having near every death a blatant rip-off from the Elm Street series, to some slightly more, though not so imaginative takes on others. But it's there the familiarity really ends, as Anita comes across as way too passive as opposed to her self-reliant and confident counterpart Nancy in the original Elm Street films, where Nancy depended on her wits and creativity to defeat her nemesis. As is true to Bollywood form, Anita relies on the masculine assistance of the standard male hero, who ends up having a one-on-one physical fisticuffs with the dream demon that feels quite out of place. I understand that Bollywood has a formula that some might accuse of being misogynistic, and sadly I would agree to a point, but as much as they put forward a tremendous effort in the gore, the effects and the dream world scenery, they could have had an opportunity to break the mold by creating something more unique. But like Hollywood, they played it safe for the buck, and sadly the film received a mediocre box office take. It's also a letdown, as I said, by its inconsistency of drama, gore and out-of-place comedy moments. But as I also said, the song and dance routines I can excuse, tradition and all that, but it's these elements that let an otherwise promising film down. It's not a bad film, though there are a lot of cringe-worthy moments to sit through. It's genuinely creepy when it chooses to be, and the main villain is just as frightening as Freddy, even though he says nothing throughout the film, which in this case works in Shakar's favour. As a curiosity, it's well worth watching, as long as you know what to expect.